Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Pop Culture Junkies. Let's talk about why the X-Men are the best team in comics. Welcome back to yet another episode of Pop Culture Junkies. I kind of got inspired to make a list of why I think the X-Men are the best team in comics today, and I thought, why not make a show about it after I started typing it up. So let's get right into it. Top 10 reasons the X-Men are the best team in comics. First reason, Jubilee, because she's my favorite X-Man, and that's it. It's my show. She's making the list. Fight me for it. Number 2, Infinite Deaths. During part of the Krakoan era, as the X-Men are trying to find a solution in one of their enemies' defenses, they just keep throwing Nightcrawler clones at them until he finds a way through. Like, that's where the X-Men are now. They'll infinitely hurl themselves at you to the death to try to get their point across and to try to achieve their goals. Number 3, Uncanny X-Force. Probably the best team run on any book, in my opinion. Definitely top 3, definitely top 5. Every comic fan who wants a superhero story should read this series. It actually continues well into Uncanny Avengers, but read Uncanny X-Force for sure. Uncanny X-Force is the pinnacle, the cream of the crop. It's an amazing run by Rick Remender. Probably the best X-book ever written, in my opinion. Number 4, Magneto does to Nazis what Captain America no longer will. That's right. Magneto has no problem making sure that Nazis he encounters get dealt with the way they should. The man crushed Red Skull's skull with no remorse while people watched and begged him not to. Doesn't explain why Sinister is still walking around. That's a little weird, but still. This is a great example of when people are like, if the Joker was in Marvel, they wouldn't know what to do. Nah, son. Marvel heroes would dead his ass ASAP. Like, first mass casualty event at a news station, his Joker's ass is done for. And the X-Men themselves have no problem killing their villains when it comes down to it. There's a reason Wolverine's the best he is at what he does. And he's not the only one. Like, they don't have a problem putting someone in a grave and calling it a day and moving along. Even their own. Wolverine had no problem killing Jean when it came down to it, to be honest. So, number 4, the X-Men they're willing to cross that moral line when they need to. Number 5, speaking of Magneto, he gets props for one of my favorite scenes of all time when he ripped Apocalypse in half. This seems like a rehash of the last point. It kind of is. But it's still my list in my show, and it's one of my all-time favorite comic panels when Magneto completely rips Apocalypse into 2 different pieces. I was a teenager when this came out, as it was an amazing thing, like seeing it as a kid, flipping through those pages. And so it gets its own slot on the list. You tear one of the oldest, most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe in half, that deserves its own slot. Number 6, Beast. Beast is amazing, not because of his powers. No, they're average. Beast may have the best arc as far as character development goes. Second, maybe, to Cyclops. He's gone from like this lovable goof who's good at chess to pretty much a supervillain. His disdain for like humanity and his desire to discover those things put together made him a literal mad scientist. So Mr. Sinister recently told Dark Beast, who Dark Beast is from an alternate universe, the one where Apocalypse got ripped in half. Dark Beast was an evil beast who experimented on people and did terrible things. So he recently came to the regular Marvel universe. He was there. Sinister came across him and told him, like, you're not even the most evil beast anymore, because he's not. The regular Beast that we all knew and loved is now pretty much a supervillain. It's been a pretty good character arc, a lot of character growth and change. And it's not something you would have expected if you go back like 100, 200 issues into the series. You wouldn't have expected Beast to be there, but it was a good gradual path that he went on that led him there. And so it was actual good character development and not something out of nowhere. Number 7, the X-Men are the best team because they sell books, period. They're the best-selling team books since like 1991 or earlier. No contest. Your favorite team book isn't even close to X-Men numbers. Just, if you think it is, fuck out of here. It's not. Number 8, people keep complaining about politics in comics. X-Men exist as politics in comics. They can't be anything but politics in comics by their very nature. They tackle some serious social issues on a regular basis due to this. And that's why it makes me laugh when people say, like, comics are getting woke. Marvel's getting woke. Marvel's been woke. The X-Men are woke. That's what they are. From day one, A1, they were woke. They were an analog for black people in the civil rights era. That's what the X-Men were. Comics are woke. The X-Men are woke. If you don't like that, then you don't understand what you're reading and you're just looking for tits and explosions. Number 9, Cyclops. So I talked about Beast having a great character arc earlier. Cyclops actually has a really great character arc himself. Old white bread vanilla Cyclops. He probably has one of the best arcs in comics, actually. He's still a dick for what he did to Madeline Pryor. Don't get me wrong. We can do a whole episode about that. But he's also had the most growth and change as a character, growing from a lieutenant into a general on his own. And so for a boring Wonder Bread kind of guy, Scott has actually had an amazing story in comics. I should do a full segment on him. But the short way to put it that X fans will understand is Cyclops was right. Period. He's one of the few people. It's great to see him in panels when he like calls out the Avengers and Captain America and is like, hey, when all the Sentinels are hunting us down, where the fuck are you guys? So don't tell me how you're heroes and all this other bullshit. Like, we're over here dying and you're over here just standing up with your flag. So really great character arc, really great character growth. The X-Men themselves like have had some really amazing runs of characters who grow and change within their books. And Cyclops is probably the number one. Last, not least, the whole reason that inspired me to make this video this time, the X-Men will fuck you up. That's the bottom line. If you look at it, this tweet that I have on the screen here, this tweet is what actually inspired me to make this list as an X fan. The X-Men are not playing. Like, they fuck people up, period. Like, when people do their fantasy fights and they're like, what happens when so-and-so, what happens when Wolverine fights Superman? Like, it's all gravy when it's one-on-one, but the X-Men don't fight one-on-one. They literally will jump you, right? Like, when they say to me, my X-Men, that's when shit's going down. And it's funny because it just happened in X-Men Red, right? In X-Men Red, the series, X-Men have a whole community on Mars. Storm had already lost this fight to Vulcan a little while back, and it comes time for the rematch, and she lures him out, and then they just jump the fuck out of him, right? And he's like, you had to bring your friends, and she's like, yeah, we're X-Men, that's what we do. Like, yeah, I say it as a joke, but it's not a joke. Like, the X-Men are a gang. Like, you fuck with them, someone's gonna say to me, my X-Men, and shit is going down from that point. Like, that's it. So that's the top 10 reasons that the X-Men are the best for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick top 10 list of why the X-Men are the best team in comics. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side.